In the 90s, Wesley Snipes became the first African-American superhero in a Marvel Comics movie when he took on the role of Blade. However, that wasn't his first choice, and he almost took on the role of T'Challa, the Black Panther, years before most non-comic book fans knew who that was. Long before Chadwick Boseman brought T'Challa to life in the MCU, Marvel was already trying to get a Black Panther movie off the ground with Wesley Snipes in the lead. By then, Snipes was quickly becoming one of Hollywood's hottest stars, fresh off hits like White Men Can't Jump and Demolition Man. He also saw something most people did not see then, a chance to show Africa as powerful, scientifically advanced, and majestic, not poor, broken, or defined by stereotypes. He wanted Wakanda to shine. Snipes said he was tired of America's images of Africans as starving or hopeless. He wanted robes, jewels, opulence, and advanced technology. Snipes admired how the character connected to the legacy of real African empires and royalty, like the Mali Empire under Mansa Musa, whose wealth rivaled that of today's richest figures. Although he had high hopes for the project, it never took off. Here's what got in the way: the concrete obstacles, the creative clashes, the timing, and how those years eventually set up what did happen later. Snipes approached John Singleton, who had made Boys in the Hood. Singleton's idea was very different. He thought about tying Black Panther more closely to the civil rights movement. In Singleton's pitch, T'Challa's father would try to get him involved in civil rights activism. There would be generational conflict, political conscience, moral struggle. Snipes respected that idea, but believed it missed the spectacle, the mythic future Africa, the sci-fi marvels the comic book version promised. Snipes wanted the toys' vibranium-powered tech, hidden advanced cities, futuristic weapons, the full richness of Wakanda. Singleton wanted something more grounded. Snipes felt if they leaned too much into politics without enough of that high-tech wonder, the film wouldn't reflect what made Black Panther unique in the comics: a hidden, highly advanced African nation, strong, regal, and mysterious. Snipes has said that in the early 90s, the visual effects and computer graphics simply weren't up to what the story required. Wakanda isn't just a palace or a jungle, it's a deeply futuristic country. Energy shields, vibranium-based tech, intricate architecture, costumes that combine tradition and science fiction. In those years, creating believable CGI sci-fi cities and tech was expensive, difficult, and often unconvincing. He also pointed out that even Pixar didn't exist yet, and many tools used later in blockbuster movies were not developed or accessible. So even with a good script and director, making what he imagined would cost a lot and risk being disappointing visually. If the spectacle fails, the magic is gone. The name Black Panther was a problem for many people in Hollywood at that time. When Snipes would talk about the film, many executives heard Black Panther and thought immediately of the Black Panther Party, the Black Power movement from the 1960s to 1970s. That group has political weight, controversy, strong associations. So many weren't clear whether the project was a comic book action hero story or a political revolutionary film. That confusion made investors nervous. Comic books themselves were not taken seriously by mainstream studios in many cases. A black superhero with a deep cultural background, futuristic gadgets, and royalty was a risk. The fear was, will this sell? Will audiences accept this kind of hero story from a less-known character? Snipes says many didn't believe in the audience for that type of film then. Marvel in the early 90s was not the giant studio system it became. They didn't always produce their own films, they licensed out characters or partnered externally. Projects often depended on whether studios were willing to wander into unproven territory. With Black Panther, Snipes had multiple versions of the script prepared, but there was no single version everyone liked. There was no director plus script combo that everyone believed could deliver the vision. During that period, Marvel also had financial troubles. The comic book industry itself was going through its own ups and downs. When projects like Blade came along, things shifted. Blade came out in 1998, Snipes starred, it was successful. It was maybe easier to make, less about royal kingdoms, and less about war with techie visuals across entire nations. So Marvel shifted some effort into projects that felt more achievable at the time. Furthermore, according to Snipes, the rights went back, converted back. That means Marvel or other entities lost or gave up certain licensing or control, and the Black Panther project lost momentum. Black Panther's next brush with the big screen came when Tim Story, director of Fantastic Four 2005 film, began developing a third installment. Story had hoped to include T'Challa from the moment he signed on for the first film and wanted to cast Jimon Hounsou, who would later appear in Guardians of the Galaxy and Captain Marvel. The problem was, 20th Century Fox didn't hold the rights to Black Panther. Meanwhile, Marvel was preparing to take full control of its future. The success of Iron Man in 2008 proved audiences would embrace films built around lesser-known heroes. Marvel launched a writer program to develop scripts for characters like the Guardians of the Galaxy and Black Panther. By then, Snipes was no longer in the mix. His career momentum had slowed due to legal troubles, including time served for tax-related charges, which sidelined his involvement just as Marvel was finally ready to bring T'Challa into the fold. Now, what was gained by this failed attempt? Why does it matter we almost got a 90s Black Panther? Because Snipes' effort showed there was belief, there was a seed. His talking about Africa's glory, wanting to show powerful kingdoms, royalty, and advanced tech, those ideas didn't vanish. Some part of Hollywood had to carry them forward. When technology caught up, when Marvel got stronger, when audiences were more ready, those seeds sprouted. Black Panther officially debuted in Captain America: Civil War before Ryan Coogler was hired to direct the standalone film. When Ryan Coogler's Black Panther came in 2018, it brought many of those dreams to life. Wakanda's brilliance, its hidden tech, its culture, the pride, and the beauty. That movie succeeded not only because the idea was good, but because by then technology and budgets could match the ambition. Also because global audiences had grown more open to that kind of story. Snipes, in interviews since then, has said he supports the Coogler version 1000% and believes it opens doors, gives opportunity and flavor, and that it's a catalyst for change. A lifelong Marvel fan, Coogler wanted to include as many characters as possible. One of them was Kraven the Hunter, inspired by Black Panther #6 from Christopher Priest's run. But Kraven's rights were tied up at Sony Pictures Entertainment, so that idea never made it to the screen. Coogler also considered including Patriot, the grandson of Isaiah Bradley. But as development went on, it became clear Patriot didn't fit organically into the story, so Patriot was saved for the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And that right there is the beauty of it. Even though Wesley Snipes never got to bring his version of Wakanda to life, his vision planted the seed for everything that came after. Without his push, the world might never have been ready for the Wakanda we saw in 2018. So now I want to hear from you. If Wesley Snipes' Black Panther had actually been made in the 1990s, do you think it would have changed the superhero movie game forever, or would it have been too far ahead of its time? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss more deep dives into untold Marvel stories. Wakanda forever.